Tonight, we have got the two-time champion Brisulph taking on Skawttie in a second-round matchup. Hi, everyone. I'm LOZ Cards Fan 23 and Ferran Burgundy back in the booth with us for our third and fourth matches. Very interesting matchup here. You've got Brisulph, who has been practicing well as of late, versus Skawttie, who is also, of course, one of our veterans here. So it should be a very interesting matchup, and who knows, anything could happen.
Oh, most certainly. There's just so much unpredictability. We've had so many sub-6 runners in this tournament here, a record number, in fact. So while there's a lot of chalk, there's also room for a lot of upsets as well.
Yeah, definitely. We've already had a couple of upsets so far in the tournament. Who knows? Maybe Skawttie can pull off the ultimate upset, taking down the two-time champion. But Brisulph not going to go down without a fight. We'll get these runners up ready very shortly.
Yep, just making sure Skattie's good to go, and we'll get the countdown going.
Brisulph, of course, number 2 in the world with a 5'10". Skawttie on the leaderboard with a 5'45". So very good PBs from both runners. On paper, you would think the advantage would go to Brisulph. I mean, I know he's just kind of getting back into the swing of things for practicing, but lately, from what my understanding is, his last couple of practice sessions have gone very, very well. So this may not bode well for Skawttie, but on the other hand, maybe Brisulph's already burnt his luck in the last set of practices.
Whether he burned it or whether he's making his own luck, it's hard to say. Yeah. Some people, well, then again, I guess the guy who said he makes his own luck didn't do so well in Titanic, but that's a whole nother story.
Absolutely. Here we go. Game number 1 between Brisulph and Skawttie. We'll get both of these runners lined up here as we have the Razor Shield manipulation on both. I think for Skawttie to have a good chance here of beating Brisulph in this match is he's got to have a solid arena gameplay. You pretty much know what you're going to get out of Brisulph, but Skawttie, he's the one that's going to have clean arena gameplay. He can't be going into Mute Toy Man behind, let's say, 30+ seconds. And right now you can see, boy, Brisulph, this is going to be a really, really good time. He's got a mid 37. That is a world-class time. A mid 41, which is an okay time for Skawttie, but a 37.5, that's just not fair, Bergs.
I mean, yeah, it's really, really good, and it shows you what Brisulph can do. I mean, probably his biggest critic has been himself in terms of his abilities, and he feels like he's lost a step. If he is, it's maybe a baby step at most.
All right, both runners have gotten some rockets here, but Skawttie now with the grenades, and neither player has an orb. Brisulph is going to use a nuke to get out of here with a 78-second time. Great time. Those rockets definitely carried him. Skawttie just not getting that same good luck that Brisulph has gotten, and he is still not done with this room yet. And, you know, he's really not done anything wrong. It's just Brisulph has had the better weapons, the better firing lanes. It's a 16-second deficit as Brisulph now gets an orb here. It Eat My Shrapnel. And Skawttie gets run over by the grunt, but he has a chance here to pick up an orb, which will mitigate any further damage, but that's already going to be a time loss as it is. So Brisulph should have about, I'd say, a 17-18-second lead coming out.
Yep, not even bothering with that Razor Shield as it's the end of the room and 2 minutes flat into total carnage.
Yep, that's a solid time there for Brisulph. Ideally, you want a 42.5-second room, so Brisulph got the job done there. And he's got a Razor Shield to open up total carnage, which is absolutely the drop you want to have to keep control of the middle, and it's about a 17.5-second lead for Brisulph coming in. Now, this is where Skawttie, he's going to get an opening Razor Shield as well, so you'll love to see the equal opportunity drops here.
Yeah, didn't really see much of that in the previous matchups here, but nice to see the game being a little more equal opportunity here in match number 3.
As I say that, Brisulph does get some rockets late into the room here. You'd like to have some kind of weapon. He'll have half a clip of spreader and a 248. Oh, that is an exceptional time for Brisulph into the bonus room. Amazing.
And a little exasperated sigh heading into the bonus room as well.
Probably thinking, oh, what could have been if I just had an orb and collect power-ups? He'd probably be talking like 244. But as it stands, I mean, the 248. You know, he has a good tank trouble here. He could have a shot at the world record. 3:15 for Skawttie, so he is 27 seconds back, and he's not really done anything wrong. It's just that Brisulph is on an otherworldly pace, and when you have rockets to start the room, this is just not fair. This is just not fair, Bergs.
It certainly isn't. What can you say? Just mowing through everything here. I mean, even not getting much else to complement it, just knows those firing lanes. I mean, better than just about anybody else, arguably CHX.
What's the first drop for Skawttie? It's an invulnerability. So yeah, RNG favoring the favorites. And look at this time for Brisulph. It's a 3:53. He gets a 71-second Mute Toy Man fight. That's going to be a world record as Skawttie takes a death in tank trouble. But right now, all eyes are on Brisulph to see if he gets to earn. Well, that is not a good start with that key. He can focus on the gunners, then try to get the ball buster. Back-to-back keys. Okay, that's just game nose talking right there. You're on world record pace. Game's like, oh, so you want spreaders and invulnerabilities chained up? Well, have a couple of empty drops and grenades instead. Does get the ball buster at least, but that's kind of disappointing.
And that's why it's hard to get one's hopes up when it comes to these things, because
absolutely it is.
It was going too well.
Yeah, you knew it was going too well for this to happen. That's why the reason there's only been 150X, and of course the world record holder CHX has that 150X. Meanwhile, Skattie's still in, and this is what I was alluding to here, Burgundy. You know, this was not a good tank trouble for him, and he finds himself over a minute back. He is going to need spreaders upon spreaders to have any opportunity here. Brisulph going to have to try a manual spreader here. Doesn't get the invulnerability. Gets a couple of manuals in there, but gets a couple more manuals in there, and he's getting close to popping the head as he just does so right there. An invulnerability for Skawttie, followed up by Lobber. So right now, barring the massive unexpected, it's looking like Brisulph's taking game one.
Yeah, but barring a Ladab set of keys from what I had seen previously here.
Oh, definitely. And final form here, Brisulph, barring that he doesn't miss shots, doesn't get run over, he is going to easily get a sub-6 here, perhaps a 5-4X. Yes, it will be a 5-4X for Brisulph to open this match against Skawttie. Great time for Brisulph.
Oh, fantastic time here. I mean, again, Skattie's playing well, but when your opponent on the first race is about, what, 2.5 seconds shy of your PB, it makes it a daunting task.
It most certainly does indeed. And we got a word from Brisulph. He did start his timer a little bit late, so in reality it's a 5:49 or 5:50, but what difference does it make at this point? It's a really good time for Brisulph. So he wins game number 1 of this best-of-5 series. Skawttie trying to finish the job here. He's got rockets. He'd like to see maybe an invulnerability come up with the spreader. Spreader first, obviously. Then he could probably finish this off. He gets lobbers again. That's the old school consistent damage right there. So Skawttie looking to maybe get a sub-7 here to salvage this particular run. Final form now for Skawttie. He's got a little bit of lobbers left. He needs another weapon. It'll be grenades. Good DPS. So it's not going to be a sub-7 for Skawttie. He will get some lobbers if he can get there. He does. Just needs a few more shots to finish the job. There's the spreader. Way too late game. Great spot, by the way. It'll be about a 707, 708 for Skawttie. So pretty comparable Mutoid Man fights, but obviously in addition to the amazing RNG that Brisulph got in arena play, he also played the arena better. Skawttie just did not have a good tank trouble, and that just set him way too far behind that. Even if he did get the good drops there, Bergs, he wasn't going to win this one.
Right you are about that. I'm looking in the race room here. Skawttie less than thrilled with the performance, saying there's 7 minutes of my life I want back.
I can understand why he would say that. He knows he can play better than he just did there in game number 1. But if you're going to play bad, play when your opponent gets a time like a 5:49 or a 5:50 and just hope for a better run next time and hope your opponent doesn't get the same good RNG that he got in game number 1. So our two-time champion, Brisulph, up 1-0. We'll see if Skawttie can bounce back and tie up this match, or if Brisulph can take an commanding 2-0 lead. Both runners should be ready to go. We'll have Burgundy set the countdown for both of our runners, and we'll turn them loose and see what happens in game number 2.
Yep, just turning them loose now, and I couldn't help but chuckle as you had said, 549, 550, what's the difference? I thought you were about to say stop at a Mexican cruise.
Yes, I was. That was on my mind. I had the Michael Larson episode of Press Your Luck in my mind when I was saying what I was going to say, and I almost said that, but I'm like, nah, here we go. Game number 2, they both have their Razor Shield manipulation. Brisulph had an amazing time coming out. Call it a 38.5 if you have that late timer there. It was still a really, really good time for Brisulph, and we'll see if he continues to pour it on here in game number 2. He's got a nuke chance here, and beautifully done there for Brisulph. So he's again going to have the whole shot with another really, really good time. This is going to be a 38 out the door. Skawttie has another 41, about a 3-second difference into collect powers. And Brisulph just obliterating the first room of this arena in both races. And he gets an opening orb. Are you kidding me?
I don't believe this. First drop orb.
I believe it. It's like we say, RNG favors the favorites and underwhelms the underdogs. And right now, it's been nuke after nuke for Skawttie. And Brisulph doesn't really even need a weapon to complement the orb. He can still get out of here with a under 80-second time. And look at this. Even with no rockets, he's got a 75. This is absolutely bonkers, Bergs.
Yeah, even wide eyes from Brisulph as he enters the room with that sort of time. Does get the rockets to take out the squirrels here, and my goodness.
He is getting everything right now. It's like the game is giving him all the goods to play the arena, and Skawttie 18 seconds back again. He's done nothing wrong, just not getting the weapons. Got a rocket, to close out collect power-ups, but when your opponent has an opening orb, you're going to find yourself that far back that quickly, and there's really nothing you can do about it.
Yeah, it's through no fault of your own. I mean, even if you're playing at your best, if you just have a pea shooter with no orb and your opponent has all the goodies.
My God, 157. I'm sorry to interrupt you there. He's got a 157 and most of his rockets to start it. I swear. Are you kidding me? Are you done yet, game? This is just not fair.
If you're Brisulph, you're just hoping the answer to that is a resounding no.
And he gets more rockets. This is just absolutely insane. It's a 220 for Skawttie. He is 23 seconds back. And now, obviously, he did lose some time in Eat My Shrapnel, but still, no orb. He's been orbless up to this point. He's got some rockets that will try to keep him afloat, but Brisulph should have another 2-4X coming out of this room. He's going to have spreaders to take with him to... No, it's not going to have spreaders to take with him. He's going to have to use it all to finish off the shrapnel. He's got a 246 into the bonus room. He had a 248, 249 in his first game. He gets a 246. I can't remember the last time a runner had back-to-back 2-4Xs in tournament play. That is nuts. Finally, a Razor Shield for Skawttie. He's still orbless. This is just unfair.
I'm just... my jaw is dropping in shock with what's going on here. I can't even articulate it at this point.
I swear, if this is a rocket drop, first drop, you're in tank trouble. Okay, it's not a rocket, but it's still spreaders, which is still a very solid drop. Both gunners are down. He's got control of the middle. This is just absolutely insane. Now, if he could just get some weapons to expedite this room, we're going to be talking 3-4X easily. These rockets are going to help.
Yeah, right in a beautiful spot, too. Not as opposed to those grenades by the left door.
Yeah, that's not a good drop, not a good spot either. He could use this nuke to finish up the room here if he knows exactly when it's going to close out. He's going to use it right now. Is that it? Not quite. Just a few left to go. So it won't be a 3-4X. He needed a couple more good weapons to get that 3-4X, but still under 4 minutes. World record in play again with a 3:56. He'll be looking for a 68-second fight.
These are sizzling times, to say the least. I'm gonna bite my tongue on that whole, that whole WR thing.
He does have a good opening drop with the lobbers here. That might be an invulnerability. I can't quite tell. He is parking on it. I know it's grenades. And right now, Brisulph not even focusing on the ball buster. He needs a weapon. Does get the ball buster, but unfortunately, it's an empty drop. Man, if that would have been a spreader. Lobbers on the feet, though. Brisulph could still get a good time here if we could see a spreader here, because he's getting lots and lots of lobbers. Now we just need a spreader right in at the door. There it is.
Ask and ye shall receive.
All right, this is good here for Brisulph here. I mean, I don't think this is going to be world record, but you know what? If he can chain another one of these, we're talking perhaps a 5.0x. He gets one more. Nah, no, that's out the window. I mean, this is still going to be a really good time. See, Brisulph was hoping. He was hoping.
Oh, now it's sparked on.
Yeah,
come on, game.
I could see what Brisulph's reasoning was. He wanted to die for a spreader, but the problem is he didn't see the drop in time. He saw it a little bit too late. Otherwise, he easily
trying to get the manuals in. A little bit of transfer damage, but not much.
Yeah, he got some. Oh, come on.
And there's the invulnerability.
Well, not that it really matters. Brisulph's going to win game number 1. Skawttie right now into the Mutoid Man fight. Has a spreader in a player 2 spot. I mean, holy smokes. Brisulph looking to finish up the job here in Mutoid Man and gets a key. So he's not even going to get a sub 6 unless he gets a quick drop here. Rockets, the slowest DPS. And this is going to be close. I don't think he got it. I don't think he got it after all of that. Oh, that is disgusting. He had a sub 4 going into the Mutoid Man fight, and he's not even going to crack 400's over. That's what Mutoid Man can do to you, though. The problem is Skawttie just hasn't had good enough arena gameplay that a bad Mutoid Man is really going to hurt Brisulph.
That just that's why I pumped the brakes on the whole world record talk. It's like, yeah, you have a great pace going in, but Mutoid Man just knows how to give you the business.
I think CHX paid him off in this match. Let's be honest with ourselves. But in any event, it's 2-0 Brisulph as the ribcage is exposed for Skawttie.
So that's how Mutoid Man controls the treads.
Yeah, exactly.
CHX controller.
Mm-hmm. You got it right. Somebody finally figured out the secret. Skawttie is going to finish up the fight. I thought he was going to white flag it for a moment here, but he is going to try and finish this up. He's got lobbers right now in hand. He'll ignore the lobbers on the ground. He'd like to see a spreader to finish the job here and just move on with game number 3. Instead, it's grenades. That's a perfect location, by the way.
You love to see it. Just not this late into a race.
Oh, absolutely. All right, lobbers now for Skawttie, and there's the final form now for Skawttie. I mean, granted, Skawttie has been up against just master RNG. Brisulph with a couple of sub 4 times into Mutoid Man so far. I mean, there's just really not much you can do about it. I mean, he could have played halfway, 3/4 decent, and he'd still be losing by over a minute. Down goes Mutoid Man. He's going to end up with a time of 7:45, so a difference of 1:45. And my, oh my, Brisulph's arena gameplay, I mean, yes, it's been good, but he's been getting the goods as well in both games. Something has to give in game number 3 to get Skawttie back into this. But if it doesn't, Brisulph, he's going to cruise to a sweep.
Yeah, I'm just typing in the thing. The RNG has been less than kind to Skawttie here. Even Bry is just in disbelief, saying another sub 4 entry for me. This is absolutely goofy. And Skawttie, meanwhile, that was top 5 worst RNG runs of this game for him.
I believe it. I mean, you know, we were focusing on Brisulph because, you know, he was on an incredible pace, you know, which you just don't see it every day. So, you know, we're supposed to be neutral here as commentators, but to be fair, Skawttie just has not gotten the drops to help him out. That's got to change here in game number 3. Now, obviously, his arena gameplay does need to tighten up, but the RNG has to swing his way. I mean, it's just gotta.
I wanted to respond instantly, but I'm like, no, I'm in the middle of typing the countdown. No.
Don't worry about it. We know you're good for a
the dead air. Afterwards. The dead air. No, don't do it.
Right.
The broadcaster in me. It's like, no, that's the perfect time to respond.
Hey, no problem at all. Game number 3 beginning right now here between Brisulph and Skawttie. Brisulph trying for the sweep here. Skawttie trying to live to see another game here in this match as we get the runners in sync. Let's see what we end up getting. We've got the Razor Shield manipulation for both. Unfortunately, we're having a little bit of technical difficulties here, so we'll try to get them lined up again in just a moment. All right, and there we go. So we'll see if we have another nuke here. Not going to be a nuke this time for Brisulph, but he's once again going to have the whole shot. A nuke chance for Skawttie. He picks it up nicely. And this is going to be another really good time for Brisulph. It is a 39, and that's his worst time. When 39 is your worst time, you know you've had some really good first rooms.
Yeah, I'd say your Arena 1s have been pretty decent at that point.
Now, Skawttie has been consistent. Give him credit. He's had 41s in all 3 games. Again, solid times for, you know, a marathon race situation, but when you're going up against Brisulph, you're going to find yourself behind the 8 ball. And Brisulph has rockets to start again. He's had rocket, orb, rocket is his first drop in his first 3 games.
I don't even know what words to use anymore. This has been just...
And it's going to be another sub 80 into Eat My Shrapnel. He's 3 for 3 in sub 80s. This will be Skattie's best time going into Eat My Shrapnel. He's got a 127, so he's 8 seconds back. But once again, no orb.
But no orb on Brisulph's end either.
Ooh, but
and
here's a chance.
Skawttie.
All right, maybe the tides are turning here. So if Brisulph doesn't get an orb here, now these weapons will keep him afloat, so he shouldn't lose any time to Skattie's lead. If anything, he could gain some time potentially. But at least the RNG is keeping us honest so far. We'll see if it stays that way. It's going to be a 2:02 for Brisulph. So Skawttie, my guess would be about a 2:10. This should be the last one here. Indeed, it is a 2:10, so about level pegging. I figured Brisulph would gain some time just because he had the rocket closer there. So, and look at this, Brisulph gets an orb just as the doctor ordered to start total carnage, so he's going to keep this lead.
Say the RNG's keeping things honest. If it was any more dishonest, it'd be in politics at this point. Goodness.
Right. Now, Skawttie is getting some good weapons here. He's got a back-to-back spreaders here. Brisulph really hasn't had any weapons to complement that orb. Not that he needs it. I mean, obviously, you'd love to have it to expedite the room, but Skattie's getting some solid quality drops here. He ignores the nuke because he was getting overwhelmed a little bit, and that's going to slow the firing count a little bit. A very late Razor Shield for Skawttie. Might as well pick it up. Keep yourself safe at the end of the room. It'll be a 2:58 for Brisulph into the bonus room. So again, his worst time going to the bonus room, which goes to show RNG a little bit more honest, as it were. Skawttie with a 3:13, but more importantly, has rockets to take with him into tank trouble. That could be huge, Bergs.
Oh, it most certainly could. That could swing the pace in a different direction here, but Bride, not to be outdone, going to get spreaders here, take out both of the gunners with it.
Absolutely. Wasn't in the best location there for Brisulph, but he made it work. So now his goal, just keep control of the middle of the room, keep the kill count high. Skawttie needs to get rid of these gunners first, which he does so. He has a foot as well. So he'll have the rockets for the rest of the clip until he gets something else. He's got a nuke which he could use if he wants to, but he's going to opt not to use it. Maybe that would have been a better idea. How did he not get picked off by that bullet there? That was crazy. I thought he went right through it.
Maybe the orb clipped it a little bit. I don't even.
Oh,
speaking of clipping, yep.
Yep, the green grunt takes away the orb right there, and this is where Brisulph's going to build that lead some more here. Rockets though for Skawttie. Well, that's a bad time to take a death. 4:15 for Brisulph into the Mutoid Man fight, and this is what Skawttie could not afford to do. The game gave him a chance to stay afloat, but unfortunately, he squandered the chance.
And now, well, let's see what Bride does with the newest opportunity here. Going with the lobbers and did not get the ball buster.
All right, Skawttie is going to be 24 seconds back. It's definitely doable, but Skawttie is going to need some help. Nice player 2 spreader. Speaking of player 2 matchups, coming up next, he has spreader for Skawttie. He's going to do the opening strat here to get the extra damage, but gets immediately vibrated. And an empty drop for Brisulph, but an empty drop for Skawttie. come on, game. There is the rib cage exposed. Rockets for Skawttie. A spreader for Brisulph. Had to do manuals there. Did some damage as he's got the head popped off. There's an invulnerability for Skawttie. He can ignore it and just focus on the lobbers. Brisulph getting some manuals in there, getting a lot right there. Final form. Brisulph looking to close it out right here.
And just tremendous play here. Really on both parts, as now Skawttie takes the death, but gets blocked by Mutoid Man.
Oh, give me a break. And Brisulph is going to get another sub-6 here. So 3 runs, his worst time was a 6 flat. That's just tough. I mean, Skawttie needed to have the runs of his life, even to have a chance in this match. And Brisulph just cleans his clock. And that was easily his best Mutoid Man fight of tonight.
Oh, and there is Jose Batista, no doubt about it.
Yep, you know, whenever I see that play, that's the phrase I always say, give it up, Dyson. Sam Dyson, of course, is the reliever I'm referring to. He got the spreader. Hey, that's good. Skawttie should get both forms, perhaps? No, not quite. So if he gets another spreader here, we could see the maximum transfer damage. Hey, that's a perfect location. That's just not the right drop, because he would have gotten the kill right there. It is final form for Skawttie. He could get his best time of the match here, but you know he's going to be disappointed in himself. I mean, yeah, the drops weren't kind to him, but his arena gameplay also just wasn't up to snuff. I mean, he had the opportunity in Tank Trouble to stay afloat, but when he grabbed the rocket and immediately took the death, I think that was the dagger right there.
And it looks like it's going to be a 7:01. Yeah, best time here for Skawttie. We've seen Skawttie go on a run in the bonus bracket before, is all I'm saying.
Yep, he has definitely proven himself many, many times into that second chance bracket in the past. He's going to have to do so again. But it is Brisulph, the 2-time champion, moving on to the winners' quarterfinals.